The following contest scheduled for one fall.
Hey, we're here. I am Goose.
I'm Logan.
We're the Wrestling Boys, and we are in our new time slot.
Yes, on Mondays.
It's 4 o'clock, right before the Denise Carey show. And so we've had some interesting things happen over the weekend. Let's start. Let's go over some news because they just had Slammiversary this weekend, and one of the new signees that they had that they were pumping up, Rich Swann, couldn't be there on Slammiversary because
he suffered a concussion on the last Impact.
Before Slammiversary. And this apparently this concussion was so severe they actually had to call an ambulance. They had to take him to the hospital in the emergency room. He apparently hit his head during the match. It was a 6-man tag match with him and Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. Against Sami Callihan and OVE. And he got the snot beat out of him. But apparently he suffered a concussion because his head hit the ring post. And apparently I guess he collapsed backstage, and they said that they determined the concussion was so severe that they had to take him to the hospital, have him checked out by the doctors, and he was taken out of Slammiversary, replaced with P.D. Williams, or
yeah, I think that's his name.
But first of all, if you did not see that 6-man tag match for Impact, find it.
Yeah, that was a great tag team match. Better than any 6-man tag team match you'll find in WWE.
On the red brand. Especially the red brand. There was one move, you and I were just sitting there going, holy because I guess Rich Swann was going to do a frog splash on Sami Callihan, and Jay Chris decided to intercept him halfway in the air and do what?
A diamond cutter?
A diamond, or what they would probably know as an
RKO.
An RKO. In midair, just missing Sami Callihan. And I'm like, we're like this. It was absolutely crazy. I've never seen a move like that before, ever.
Except for Randy Orton and Evan Bourne.
At that one time.
Or now known as Matt Seidel.
But you want to talk about Slammiversary real quick? Because people are like absolutely going crazy over this. Apparently, you said that Chris Jericho apparently was watching and tweeted in about it. What did he say?
It was a great show. Now, if you have one of the GOATs, greatest of all time, if you don't know what that means, you know your show is amazing.
Yeah. The only disappointing thing was it pretty much went, I think, down the line as far as championships are concerned, because only one championship changed hands.
And that was the X Division Championship in the match between Matt Seidel and Brian Cage. Right. Which is kind of weird how Brian Cage is actually in the X Division, because he is a big guy. And the X Division is their cruiserweight division.
I think so. And we can get into the cruiserweight division over at WWE, because my opinion is that division's gotten buried. It's not even.
Well, at this point, 205 Live is now being praised as being better than Raw.
Yeah, but it's like,
which it's coming back from being trashed, by the fans of the other shows, and now it's being praised as better than the main shows. Seriously, I saw this one post where it was Undertaker and Kane doing a chokeslam. It was Raw chokeslamming SmackDown, or no, SmackDown chokeslamming Raw, and 205 Live chokeslamming NXT. Now that tells you they are really doing well if people are saying it's better than NXT.
But my issue is that when it comes to any pay-per-view, any pay-per-view that WWE has, you cannot find 205 Live. And if they are performing on a pay-per-view, they're in the pre-show. Now, why would, they've pumped up the women's division, to a point now where Stephanie McMahon is making a big announcement tonight about that. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But, and they pretty much have turned their tag division into
garbage.
You
They
know.
don't really care about it.
They don't
at this
really
point.
care.
Seriously, you have people who were jobbers like a month ago or 2 months ago, and now they're all of a sudden so hyped that they're the tag team champions. Seriously.
Yeah, I think
Overpushed much? Well, I mean, of course, not as overpushed as Roman Reigns, but seriously, that's like a skyrocket of a push.
I agree, but I kind of think that if you're really going to give the I almost said X division, but if you're really going to give the cruiserweight division some love, put them in a match on the show, put them in a match in SummerSlam. I mean, give them just some love,
Like on the main card, not the pre-show.
Yeah, not the pre. But I think the only thing was, I mean, that didn't surprise me. I mean, Brian Cage has over about 100 pounds on.
Oh yeah, he's a really big guy. Probably at least like 300 pounds. I don't really know his weight, but looks a 300-pound guy.
They've been doing a Goldberg on him. They've been basically he's undefeated. He's never been pinned, never been submitted. He's a good-looking guy. He reminds me a lot of. I almost wanted to say Brodus Clay, but Brodus Clay was a massive guy.
Oh yeah.
But and I think it was time for. I mean, I think it was time for Matt Sydal to give up the belt to Cage, and I think the next step is for Cage to probably go for the heavyweight title against Austin Aries. But even then, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Aries is their big name. He's their big draw. But unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to see Slammiversary. I had to work. And I wasn't able to stream it to where I was at, but from what you're telling me, and I'm hoping to catch some highlights of it, that it's one of the best, if not the best, pay-per-view people are saying in a long time. So, let's hope that. Let's hope that maybe Impact Wrestling can start giving WWE a little bit of competition so that WWE can step up. Their main card. Before we go to break.
Well, I mean, I also thought it was kind of funny how, like, right after Extreme Rules, Impact puts out a pay-per-view that's more extreme than Extreme Rules.
No kidding.
Yeah, seriously, you had a mask versus hair match where Pentagon accidentally, broke the referee's arm.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I read
And
about
you
that.
had a House of Hardcore match, a street fight. Yeah, seriously.
You almost technically had a casket match, too, because Su Yung won and then put Madison
Rain in a casket.
So it's like,
Yeah.
it makes sense. Before we go to break, you found something that I thought was actually humorous, and that is how to make Raw interesting.
Let me pull that up.
Better.
Let's read this off. Okay, how to make Raw enjoyable again. Sip your beer when you see a suicide dive, you see a Superman punch, anytime you see someone with long hair and a beard come out. Take a shot when someone says, "First time ever," a what chant happens, and slap yourself when Michael Cole says, "Big dog." Anytime you're bored, sing "All Star" by Smash Mouth. And the last one on here says, "Take a bong rip if Brock shows up."
Which would probably be a waste of good weed because he'll never show up.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to a break. We'll be right back after this. We're going to talk a little bit about Stephanie McMahon's big announcement tonight on Raw. We'll probably get into a little bit on Lashley and Reigns, and maybe any other fun and interesting news we come up with before we head on out of here. We want to thank Adios Bail Bonds for sponsoring us because guess what? Jail food sucks. We'll be right after this. I'm Goose.
I'm Logan.
We're coming to you from the Baker Show Music Hall of Fame and Currentcast.com. We'll see you on the other side of this break.
Introducing the new California State Penitentiary Bologna Sandwich. Jail food sucks. Don't let your family eat jail food.
Hey, we're back. I'm Goose.
I'm Logan.
And Stephanie McMahon has an interesting announcement tonight. And it's been rumored that it is something about the women's division. What is it? You know what they're going to be talking about?
Most likely they're introducing the women's tag team titles.
Oh, interesting. The tag team titles for the women's division have been kind of, dormant since 1988.
Well, I mean, they've got tag team titles in other promotions, like probably a lot of other promotions, so I think WWE has probably caught on to that idea and probably be like, that's a really good idea.
Really good idea. I know Sasha Banks had said something about it or tweeted something about it saying that, it was only natural to have tag titles because the women need something more to compete for other than
just the women's championship.
Women's championship, and I think this makes it just another interesting thing. Now, we were talking on the way here that this might lead to a Hell No scenario
with Bayley and Sasha Banks.
What do you think? Do you think that'll work?
Well, I mean, last week we saw Sasha Banks going somewhere, and they said, didn't Kurt Angle say if there was a big fiasco out in the ring during that tag team match that somebody was headed to SmackDown? So
yep.
Sasha Banks might have been the one heading to SmackDown because she had that whole luggage and suitcase, and she had that I love you and I always have, seriously, and now everybody's like, ooh, it's a lesbian love story. I'm not kidding, that's what everybody was saying.
Okay,
so maybe that could be something that's happening if Sasha Banks didn't actually head to SmackDown.
I did hear a rumor that there was going to be a little bit of a shakeup in the women's division concerning the two brands. I did not. I mean, here's the interesting part. I mean, Raw does not want to send one of its bigger name women to SmackDown. They already sent all of their big name tag teams to SmackDown. So
the Bar, and I think that's the main one.
The big one. Here's one of the things I heard that one of the things that they're talking about is they're going to have an all women's pay-per-view.
Oh yeah. Heard about that also.
And that they're even going to bring in some of the women from NXT to help that out if they're going to do an all-women's pay-per-view. I find it interesting because, first of all, we know the women's division have been something that they've really, really built on, worked on to give a huge push. Not just for all the brands, actually. And so I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, I like the idea of having women's tag team belts. I think it will bring more competition to both brands or all brands. I don't know. I don't know if an all pay-per-view women's is going to work. I'm excited about it, but I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if people are going to pay their $50 to see women's wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my only concern with the whole thing. I think it's a great idea, but I'm kind of interested to see what's going to happen with the announcement tonight. And I would like to see maybe Bayley and Sasha Banks team up and become Raw.
Well, I mean, I just want Bayley to become a champion again, seriously, because she's a great wrestler, right? She deserves a championship, and she's just been on the sideline for forever since she last won it.
It kind of feels like they've not treated her well, and I think that she'd been getting a huge push up until they said you're going to counseling, and then I'm like, what are you doing? This is really stupid, but I mean, the writers there are, I guess, I don't know, they're doing something. Anyway, yeah, they're going crazy. Really quick before we head into our next break, they're going to have Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns have a match tonight to see who the number one contender is for Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. I already know, you probably already know where I'm going, because I think Bobby Lashley's going to win. I think it'd be a bigger card. I think it'd be a better card, but
yeah,
we both know that
it'd probably get more people to actually watch SummerSlam, because people probably wouldn't watch SummerSlam if they're just going to be seeing the main event of Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for what seems like the 1,000th time, even though it's nowhere near that, but it definitely seems like that. So they're probably going to catch on, or hopefully catch on to the fact that people aren't going to watch it if that's the case.
Well, you and I have both said that, we've seen you, especially you've been really outspoken about, we've seen this before. We've seen Reigns and Lesnar before. We're sick and tired of it. Give us something new. And, and like I said last week, it's like going to a steakhouse and you're served a Big Mac. Because we've gotten this over. We want something new, and we want to see. We want to see a fresh match.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm hoping doesn't happen is the typical triple threat that they'll want to do with Reigns, because they know that it'll be the only way Reigns will get the title away from Lesnar. In some freak fashion, but even Paul Heyman has said that that they can't do a one-on-one match with Lesnar anymore because they know that Lesnar will just beat them down.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, let's go to a break. When we come back, what are we gonna talk about again?
I'm not sure. Let's just figure something out on the break.
We'll figure something out on the break. On the other side of this, again, we want to thank Adios Bail Bonds for giving us a little bit of time here, because you know what?
Jail food sucks.
And we'll see you on the other side of this. I'm Goose.
I'm Logan.
We're the Wrestling Boys. We'll see you after the other side of this break, as I keep hitting my microphone.
At the time you were arrested, you were served with a DS-367 temporary driver's license. It's good for 30 days, but if you don't act within 10 days, at the end of those 30 days, your license will be suspended. It's important for your lawyer to contact the DMV for you. Set up a driver's license administrative hearing so that your license does not go into suspension. That's something here at Braemar Law we do for you.
Your home is perfect. Until it's not. We understand that life has its changes. As your family grows, we're here to help grow with you. Because taking care of your family is important to you and important to us. Your story starts here with Cornerstone Mortgage.
And we're back. Hey, Logan, during the break, you said we'll figure something out. What did you figure out?
That, was it Matt? I think it was Matt Jackson said that he was considering the Young Bucks for a WWE run. And
interesting.
Yes, and I believe that would be great, yet I'm fearing that because Vince is, as we all know, really stupid. Especially at this point, because, even you brought up on this point that the way to make Raw enjoyable again, or even the whole company enjoyable again, is having Vince McMahon dead.
Yeah, I didn't, and I'm not like.
Even though that's really morbid, everybody is saying that.
I'm not. It is morbid.
It's true. Everybody's saying it'll be better when Vince McMahon's dead because Triple H will take over, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people know Triple H is the one running NXT, and everybody knows that NXT is better every single week.
It's kind of sad. I think it's because it has become well known that Vince McMahon has an iron fist on the WWE and how he wants it run, and it's and again, it's morbid. I'm not threatening Vince McMahon's life, but it's just that we know that even when creative comes up with a good idea, if it doesn't get by Vince, it's not going to get done.
Yeah, seriously. And one of the biggest things was, I think it was a while back where Titus O'Neil did this one thing where I think he wanted Stephanie McMahon to go backstage first, and Vince McMahon, I think he just buried him because of that one thing. Seriously, a wrestler can do one wrong thing then they're buried for life.
Yeah, I think
Buried for their entire career. So I'm afraid for the Young Bucks to be coming over to WWE. So like they'll do this one thing, then they'll be treated like garbage, going from being the best tag team in the world to being jobbers.
Yeah, I mean, and there's history of this. I mean, let's be honest. There is history of this because when WWE bought WCW and they had this big feud between the two rivals, I mean, Vince McMahon, I mean, it did not matter, how good WCW. And for me personally, I watched WCW because it was better than WWE at the time. I mean, and I didn't like or enjoy the what is it called, the
Attitude Era?
The Attitude Era. I did not enjoy the Attitude Era. I found it interesting, I found it, but it took away from the wrestling. This whole, sex and drugs around
Bra
the
and
world.
panties match.
Yeah, and it's just really
Seriously.
really, really stupid. I agree with you. I think I worry about the Young Bucks too. If they do come over, they'll probably have they'll probably sign a 3-month contract. They'll come over, they'll be exciting, they'll have a few matches where they'll be hyped and and they'll go up against the Usos and it'll be really, and then all of a sudden, like you said, they'll be buried. And unfortunately, I think when WWE buries somebody, it really hurts. Heart. Their reputation. And I mean, even if Matt and
Nick,
I almost said Matt and Jeff.
Seriously?
Yeah, I don't know why I have Hardys in the brain, but I think Hardys and Young Bucks would make an interesting show. But because I think Matt and Nick would harm their reputation. They would go back to New Japan, and people
would probably not even if they got buried. It would probably just like hurt their reputation in general from going like to probably the company with maybe probably the best wrestling right now, to going to a company where everybody's like it's boring.
Yeah.
To a company that a few weeks ago got its lowest viewer rate or lowest viewers in history. They'll probably just get a bad reputation for just that.
Yeah, I think that I would like to. I know this sounds crazy. I would like to see the Young Bucks make an appearance, but I would worry that if they try to stay long term, that Vince McMahon would just find a way to just ruin them. I think that they're probably better off staying in New Japan and being the ultimate showman in the
being the elite,
especially with the Bullet Club. And let's be honest. Let's just talk about this because we got to get out of here.
Oh, there was one more thing.
Yeah, I know. But let's be honest. There's a reason why guys like Chris Jericho and Cody Rhodes had ended up in New Japan. There's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a big reason. All right, before we go, I keep hitting my damn mic.
Maybe you should put it up a little. That would probably help.
I want to order some fries and a milkshake, please. All right. I'm getting super goofy. There's one thing you wanted to show us before we head on out for the week.
The last thing is, which title is more prestigious, the IWGP Championship or the WWE Championship?
Oh gosh,
simple answer: the IWGP Championship.
And I think it's because the matches are longer.
Oh, definitely.
The matches are more physical. And that's not to give. And let's be honest, that's not to take anything away from AJ Styles, who has won both. But you're also looking at, and on the WWE side, you're also looking at guys like, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, who are just amazing, in my opinion. They're amazing showmen. But look at the guys who have won the IWGP title.
Tetsuya Naito, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada, Kenny Omega.
Yeah, and let's go further back. Let's talk about, Brock Lesnar once held it.
Vader.
Bob Sapp once owned it. Ishii and what is it? With that one guy, Shinsuke Nakamura once held it.
Low Blow Master.
Low Blow Master, who for some reason has figured out how to do Matt Hardy's little thing. Little deal. The list of guys who have I mean, I think if you were to put them in a video game, the guys who've won both titles, I think it would be absolutely masterful. But it's like, right now the WWE title, especially the Universal title, just doesn't compare.
Well, I mean, I think one of the biggest reasons that we can see that the IWGP Championship is more prestigious is because Kazuchika Okada held on to the title for 720 days.
Yes.
And how many WWE champions did we have in that time?
Well, let's also talk.
Well, I mean, granted, Kazuchika Okada had like 13 defenses in that time, but that, as I said a few weeks back, is making the title matter because, like, in WWE, we're always having these open challenges, which kind of devalues the championship. But with Kazuchika Okada, he's saving it for the big events, and he always shows up.
And not only that, when Okada held the title,
he's having like 40-minute long defenses, 60-minute long defenses.
And
so it doesn't matter if he's having 13 defenses. Every single defense is like an hour long.
And if somebody, and I'm sorry, waving at Denise who just came in, she'll be on next right after us. Not only that, but I mean, when someone came out and challenged for the title, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And he went up against Naito and Ishii. He went up against a lot. Tanahashi or Takahashi or both of those guys.
No, I think it was Tanahashi.
Tanahashi. He didn't back down. It was like, you want to come after me for this? Let's do it. I think that's one of the reasons why the open challenge has become so the thing now, because, hey, guess what? We don't know who we want to have challenge you, so let's... hey, come on out and challenge anybody. So, anyway. All right. It is time for us to bug out of here. We want to thank the Bakersfield Music Hall of Fame and Kerncast.com for letting us come on and talk about our passion as far as pro wrestling. I'm Goose.
I'm Logan.
We are the Wrestling Boys. We'll see you next Monday at 4 o'clock, our new time slot, and we'll talk about all the new stuff that's been going on tonight, tomorrow night, and on down the road as far as pro wrestling. We will see you next week. Have a good night.